What's going on, guys? It's the Crypto Lark here. Today we're going to be doing our Friday news roundup. We're going to be talking about regulations around the world. We're going to be talking about IOTA, Binance, PIVX, WaltonChain, and Dash, all in that order. If you want to skip ahead to any particular segment of the video, I'll provide links in the description down below. Quick shout out, as always, to everyone who is hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. You guys know I love my crypto community out here. You know, all the old subscribers, all the new subscribers, welcome everybody to the video. And a big shout out to Paul Carr, who is the newest patron over on Patreon. If you guys want to, you know, up your support a bit and support me over on Patreon, that would be super appreciated. You can also follow me along on Steemit at Lark Songbird. And of course, a big shout out to Justin from San Diego as well for his contribution. Really, really appreciated, guys. Let's get into it. So, nice day for the markets. See a pretty decent amount of green, even though we've seen some 24 hours a bit down. The weekly average is well up. Bitcoin is back on its trek to new all-time highs, which I can foresee happening in the near future. Although we can expect some choppy waters as we head to that, as SegWit 2x rolls out here in the coming weeks. So I'll be doing a video about that next week and all the drama around the forks and all the forking that's been going on. Okay, let's get into it. Bitcoin businesses face bank account closures in Singapore. Banks in Singapore are reportedly moving to close accounts tied to a number of cryptocurrency firms. Now that's very interesting news. Obviously, Singapore has been a massive hub for these crypto-related companies. You know, a lot of our favorites are based out of Singapore, like 10x and Qtum. They're actually based in Singapore. Now, to see this kind of news coming out, I can't help but wonder if China is somehow exerting pressure on those Singaporean banks. I just saw a news article the other day, actually. It's unrelated to crypto, but you know, American banks putting pressure on Uruguayan banks because Uruguay has legalized marijuana. So you could see something like this happening with Chinese banks putting that pressure on because, you know, these banks that are having to close their connections with cryptocurrency firms may have very strong connections to China or people within the Chinese ruling class. Yeah, I feel something could be going on there. And that's just speculation, guys. That's not an official word by any means. South Korea will be conducting on-the-spot checks of Bitcoin exchanges. Now, this is on the back of some other news that we saw earlier in the week of Japan doing basically the same thing. This is not a bad thing. Oversight is good. It will help people being screwed out of their money. I know us in the crypto community, we're like, we don't want any government involvement, but the reality is that moving forward, there will be government oversight, at least. I'm not saying the government needs to regulate Bitcoin, but they should be making sure that everything is above board. Okay, moving on. New SEC cyber unit to police ICOs. So that is the Securities and Exchange Commission in the USA. They've got a cyber unit. Really, guys? I mean, I guess why not? It would be nice to actually see the US finally get some kind of a turnaround and actually start just, you know, sort it out, legislate it, pass whatever you need to pass, and let Americans get involved in ICOs again. The fact that, you know, this is their response, you know, we're gonna form a cyber unit, crack down on those evil ICO guys. America, what are you gonna do? Okay, as an alternative to that sad story, though, Australia releases guidelines on ICO fundraising, recognizes potential. This is a really exciting story, and I've been so stoked with all of the news I've been seeing out of Australia recently about different ICO offerings and, you know, the fairly friendly climate that is being taken on board down in Australia. So, you know, good on you, mates. Good on you. That is really exciting news. So they basically have come out and said that, you know, they've issued some guidelines, and they said that, yeah, it's got potential. It's a nice way for businesses to raise funds, and it's another investment option for investors, so that's fine. They simply must comply with relevant Australian laws. So those would be basic, you know, securities kind of laws. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I'm happy to see this. So it will fall under Australian consumer protection laws, which is of course good for Australians wanting to invest in ICOs. So that's great. That's great. I'm really happy to see that. Moving on to IOTA. Now this is something that came out a few days ago, and you guys may have seen this if you've been searching the interwebs here. And this is an Ethereum developer who has written a critique of IOTA. It's pretty interesting. He gives us full disclosure up here. So some of his big critiques: IOTA shows a lack of good technical judgment. IOTA disregards cryptographic best practices. IOTA is a bad actor in the open source community. And IOTA's integrity guarantees lack rigor. It's a pretty serious critique, and it really goes into critiquing the ethics of the IOTA team, and it goes into critiquing some of the technical aspects of IOTA as well. For anyone who's interested in reading that, you can go over to hackernoon.com and find this article. But I did want to put that out there. Now, obviously, the direct response from the guys over at the IOTA team is, you know, people need to stop spreading this sort of this FUD about IOTA. And I can largely agree with them. Look, there will be problems in any new technology moving forward. So it's an interesting read. If you do want to, you know, see the other side of the story, you guys can come over here and check this out. But to be honest, I'm a big believer in IOTA technology. And look, there has been problems. There will be other problems. It's the Tangle's a new idea. You're going to have that. But they'll keep moving forward. Fix and move, fix and move. Exciting news from IOTA. Flash channels are on the way. So this is what a flash channel is going to look like. It's going to let you send IOTA almost instantaneously, basically. So you'll be able to come over here and click on this and just say, hey, I'm going to send you some IOTA real quick. Great. Normally an IOTA transaction will take about 5 minutes or so. But here they actually want to get it going so it goes much faster than that. So that's pretty exciting news coming out from them. So it's going to be a peer-to-peer transaction. Basically, as it looks here, this kind of window will pop up. You can just type in, boom, send, you know, 100 IOTA to somebody. Makes it really, really easy. If anyone has been buying or using IOTA recently, you know what an absolute pain in the butt it is trying to get the wallet set up and all that. So this would make it, you know, really, really useful, really user-friendly. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, Dominic Schreiner, the guy who posted on Twitter about the Flash channels coming, has also been over presenting at an international motor show in Germany. So that's pretty exciting news. You know, there's a lot of potential and I think a lot of interest in working IOTA into, you know, the next wave of cars. Obviously, the potentials are from stuff like micropayments for charging your car while sitting in a parking lot to, you know, paying tolls and so on and so forth. There's a lot of potential, a lot of interesting concepts for IOTA in that space. This is super big news right here, and it is Binance is supporting IOTA deposits. Finally. I cannot believe it's taken this long for IOTA to get support outside of Bitfinex. So it's finally being listed somewhere else. That is fantastic. If you actually go over and check out, if you actually go over and check out, now it's not actually at the time of doing this video, it's not listed for Bitcoin or Ethereum trading yet. You can only deposit it. So they haven't quite got the trading functionality up yet, but they've got a working wallet where you can actually deposit your IOTA over there. So obviously the trading should follow shortly, but they haven't made an official announcement about that. Although if you go to the wallets page, you are able to deposit IOTA now on Binance. So the trading should follow quite shortly, I hope. This was an interesting one as well. I wanted to just throw it out there to, you know, another potential use for IOTA. This is a company called Siren Labs. They are a smartphone company, so for about $1,000 you can get one of their smartphones. pretty exciting stuff, I guess. Now they are partnering with IOTA. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, sorry, they're going to form an independent blockchain powered by the Tangle in order to operate the backbone of their idea here. So pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff right there. We'll see how that rolls out in the future. I just wanted to, you know, throw that out there. A little bit of technology news for you guys as well. Other big news from Binance, of course, except for simply listing IOTA, or sorry, accepting IOTA deposits. Again, we do have to wait for those pairings to come. Sonam has finally been listed over on Binance. We've seen some pretty good price action as a result of that, although Sonam is a bit down overall at the moment, back down to about 8 cents or so currently, although to get up to about 10 cents there quite shortly. Fun has also been listed over here on Binance, and they've got a really exciting competition going, giving away a few million Fun, actually. And that is one thing I did want to mention about Binance. These guys are such strong competition right now in the exchange space. You know, they're getting it right in all the places where BitShares is kind of getting it wrong. You know, BitShares isn't user-friendly enough. BitShares doesn't really do much exciting at the moment. I mean, BitShares used to be like a $1.2 billion company, you know, market cap-wise anyway. And they just haven't been doing enough to attract new coins, new business, and yes, there's still massive volume going on over at BitShares. And I think the BitShares project is great, but I feel like it just hasn't got the attention that it needs, you know, from the team, from the people pushing BitShares forward. Whereas Binance, you know, they're running competitions and stuff like this. Hey, you know, deposit the first 500 people to deposit this, get a reward, or, you know, the highest holders of Fun at the end of the day will get X reward, and that's fun. People are excited about that. You know, if you follow them on Twitter, you'll see they're constantly updating and putting out, you know, competitions and stuff like this, and it's exciting. It's exciting. Binance is doing really good. They're really doing great at their marketing and getting people involved in their platform. So that is really cool. Good work, Binance. Okay, PIVX news. Now, if you saw my PIVX versus NAV video, you probably saw this, and that is that PIVX is running the Zero Coin protocol on their testnet. So we should be seeing that rolled out pretty soon, which is obviously very exciting for PIVX. And now, if you check out the PIVX Twitter page, their newest tweet here is this one here, 2 hours ago. I feel like they saw my video yesterday, and yes, I have made a mistake, guys, in this regard to PIVX, so I did want to issue that correction now. PIVX does have a fully funded team of paid core developers, so they got 6 people who are paid by the PIVX fund to be working full-time on PIVX. I'd have no idea how I missed that yesterday in my research, but it happens sometimes, guys. It happens sometimes. So apologies about that. PIVX is being funded by the PIVX Foundation. So there you go. There you go. Now, other PIVX news, we are going to see Ledger integration for PIVX. That is really exciting. So that integration is going to happen sometime this fall. And of course, if you're interested in getting a customized ledger that says PIVX on it, you can get one of those sometime early next year. But the more exciting news, of course, is actually being able to hold your PIVX on the wallet. So that integration will come this fall. That is great news for PIVX. And this is a bit of an old one, but nevertheless a good one, because they've finally got the jerseys on the guys. And PIVX has been sponsoring a sports team over in Poland. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. As you see a lot of that, actually. NEM is sponsoring a basketball team in Lithuania, for example. So pretty cool. It gets the name out there, guys. It gets the brand out there. It gets people asking, hey, what's that thing? So that's pretty cool. Big news from WaltonChain. WaltonChain has won the Xinjiang competition. Gonna get government backing and funding. Interesting. That's really big. If you're wondering what the Xinjiang competition is, Xinjiang is a city on the coast of eastern China. Basically, they've won $1 million as a result of this winning this competition. So they've got another $1 million in funding, plus government backing and support. Obviously, that is fantastic news for them. Now, this is just rumor, but I do want to let you know that the rumor is starting to circulate that WaltonChain will be listed on Bittrex quite soon, and that the wallet is not too far away. Now, those are unsubstantiated claims. That is not official from the team over at WaltonChain, but I think realistically we will be seeing that fairly soon. So again, those are just unsubstantiated rumors, but nevertheless, I think that's important to consider as well, is that I think we will see a listing on a few more exchanges pretty soon. Of course, right now Binance is the one who is holding up WaltonChain, which is fantastic. The other news is, holy cow, Walton has exploded in price. Only a few days ago, we were just down at something like $1. Yeah, this is the 7-day chart. So as little as a week ago, you could pick up WaltonChain for about $1.30, and yesterday it went all the way up to nearly $7. So that is 167,000 Satoshis where it hit yesterday, and that is of course up from 34,000 Satoshis. So absolutely massive gains for WaltonChain on the back of winning that competition, getting that news, getting that support. And of course, we are going to continue to see WaltonChain do very, very well as they're getting the official funding for their RFID chips. They're going to make it happen, and they're going to be a big player, I think, in that space of, you know, logistics and moving things around. So that WaltonChain, I knew it when I reviewed this one, that it was a great project, definitely one to keep an eye on. So if you were able to buy some Walton when it was cheap, good on you. You did really well. Okay. And finally, a bit of news from the guys over at Dash. Now, Dash has recently had a conference. During that conference over in London, they made some announcements. Now, they didn't make anything definitive in their announcements. That is something you got to keep in mind. There wasn't anything definitive. But nevertheless, some of those announcements included global brokerage service with free bank transfers, new exchange integrations. You've already seen a few of those actually. CEX, for example, now is listing Dash. Dash will be able to access more than 20 new fiat currencies. Another ATM manufacturer is going to be integrating Dash. Dash will be integrating with several large retailers. Of course, none of those have been named. They don't want to say anything before it actually happens. And they're looking at healthcare integration. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, because again, they were a bit scant on the details. You know, they're kind of keeping it low, but nevertheless, that's all really exciting stuff for Dash. And of course, you know, you guys know me, I'm quite bullish on a Dash in that respect. I think it's definitely going to be one of these ones that'll be $1,000 in a year. So definitely one to keep your eyes on. And of course, on the back of this, the Dash core is hiring new people, which is always good to see. That means that they are growing. That means that they are moving forward. So I'm happy to see that Dash is getting some new hires in here and that they are continuing to move their project forward. So absolutely exciting news there as well. Okay, that's it for the Friday news, guys. I hope you've enjoyed getting up to date on some of our favorite coins. If you have any comments or questions, hit me up in the comment section down below. As always, guys, long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.